Hello everybody and welcome to the Matchday DVD interview today. Today's guest is Clint Ewan, which I'd like to thank very much for doing it, Clint. First question then, Clint. It's obvious by a new 4-year deal in the bag that you're enjoying life at OKR. What persuaded you to sign for that long and are you happy with the 4-year deal?
I'm extremely happy with the 4-year deal. I think that, as I've said, publicly, that the decision was reasonably pretty easy, considering the fact that I didn't want to go back to the NRL. I didn't, wasn't interested in any offers from the NRL, and I wasn't interested in any offers from other Super League clubs. I've maintained the fact that I came to England under the condition that I wanted to try and be a one-man team, and I've managed to do that. And I think a lot of the reasons come back to the players. I'm having a great time here, and it's such a great group of players, but also the fans. I think that they're, in my opinion, the best in England as far as rugby league's concerned. And I think that they're one of the major reasons why I've re-signed.
So, loving your rugby so much as it's obvious you do the way you play, just your attitude towards rugby, it's fantastic and something any young player can learn from. How frustrating was it for you personally to miss a large chunk of last season through an injury?
I was massively frustrating. I think that I came over here with full intentions of trying to take the Rovers into their first semi-finals, and when I managed to play, I think 17 or 19 games, I think, and in Australia that's not a bad season, but considering how many games are played over here, I missed the most important part of the season, which was a chance for us to go into the semi-finals. So that was extremely disappointing, especially when we were so close, but just missed out. So hopefully I can be a part of that side to take the Rovers into the semi-finals.
It's hoping you are. As a young kid, when you was growing up, Clint, who was the people that you looked up to most, both on and off the field of rugby league?
I think as far as rugby league people are concerned, I was lucky enough to be around a lot of great footballers at an early age. Blokes like Paul Harrigan, Tony Butterfield, and then as I got older, I started sort of knocking around more with blokes like Andrew Johns and Danny Badiris and Matt Gidley, and when you watch those players, kill it on the field, and then you get an opportunity to play with them. It's a childhood dream, and just not only what they did on the field, but just their work ethic off it. They are a true testament to why they are so good, considering the fact of how hard they train and the work they do away from the training paddock. As far as non-football is concerned, I didn't really have to look too much further than my own backyard to see, like, my father, who was obviously a professional golfer, and he's worked extremely hard at a golfer, and then obviously to go through what he had to go through, and now it hasn't affected his life at all. He's definitely a hero of mine, and arguably one of my best friends.
Yeah, he is a fantastic man. He's your dad. I spoke to him when he was here last time. Speaking about motivational, it must be highly motivational to have a father like that who has overcome the obstacle he overcome after what happened, which everybody's quite aware of, I'm sure. Does that encourage you to think that sometimes when hurdles appear that they're a bit smaller than what other people would see them?
Oh, 100%. I think that that's the way I've lived my life ever since a young kid. Any time I got didn't get picked in a footy side, or I didn't make first grade, or things that are really quite insignificant when you put it in the big scheme of things. As I said, having a father like I did, who didn't take a backward step and didn't really sort of he didn't let his injury keep him down, or stop him from being a super positive person. So he always just said hard work pays off, and if you want it bad enough, you'll get it eventually. And I was fortunate enough to listen to his advice, and I've managed to really enjoy my career so far, and hopefully it'll continue on here.
Having a golfing family with your father and your sister, I believe, a very good golfer. I don't know the standard you'll reach, Clint, but was golfing ever an issue where you could have gone into it yourself as a professional sportsman?
I think it was something that I considered probably at around the age of probably 15 or 16, and but then I really didn't like the fact that it was an individual sport. I love my team sports. I love being around my mates, and I love the contact of which rugby league provides. I always give Dad a hard time about golf's for a few softies, but you know, rugby league's it's something that I'm very passionate about, and I think that, you know, if you're going to go into something and make a career of it, you've got to be passionate about it. Otherwise, you know, you're never going to be successful, and that's why, you know, I chose rugby league.
Yeah, I don't think you get a nickname like Mean Machine if you're not passionate, I must say. What are your ambitions then for the future? You've got 4 years here at least. Let's hope it's a few more. What are your ambitions in the short term, shall we say?
The short term is, you know, just to play consistently well, you know, over the next couple of months, and, you know, build a good platform that will, you know, take us on to the back half of the year where we probably fell away a little bit last year. You know, obviously the goal at the end of the year for me is to try and take the side into a top 4, top 5 spot. And then, you know, anything can happen. Once you make the semi-finals, it's a whole new ball game. It's a whole new competition. You know, the last 27 rounds are been and gone, and it's anyone's game. So, you know, once you get there, you're a chance of winning. But if you don't get there, you're no chance. So that's the goal for this year. Looking forward, you know, in the next, you know, 4 years that I'm here, I'd certainly like to, you know, have some sort of silverware in my cupboard by that stage. I think that, you know, with a club of how it's progressed in the last sort of 3 seasons that it's been in the Super League, I think that, you know, we do have the credentials to you know, push for a premiership or a Challenge Cup victory, and I think that that comes from the back office as well. I've always been told that, you know, you can have the best football side in the world, but if your front office is no good, then, you know, you're wasting your money on good players. So, you know, I think that the club's heading in the right direction in that regards. They've got some very passionate people like Neil Hudgell and Phil Lowe and that involved, and I think that, you know, with Justin Morgan, who I think is arguably, statistically, you know, with the players that he's had to work with, possibly the best coach in Super League as far as, you know, he hasn't been blessed with an abundance of talent, but he's done extremely well in the short time that he's been a first grade coach, and so I think, you know, all the signs are there. If we can keep the core of our group together, there's not going to be mass changes in the next few years, and I think the Rovers have an opportunity to you know, pick the eyes out of a few other sides, and you know, do that with it in mind that, you know, we're no longer a struggling club that's just going to take anyone. We're going to take people that, you know, are here for the right reasons and all working towards the same goal.
Here, very well said again. So you spoke about Justin briefly there, and some of the players that you've previously played with and trained with. How big an influence have those people and Justin, since you've been here, been on your career? Have they improved you at all, Clint, as a person and a player?
Oh, definitely, no doubt about it. I think, you know, I was blessed to play with some of the players that I've been able to play with. I mean, you know, people dream of the fact of playing with people like Andrew Johns and Danny Badiris. I mean, two of arguably the best players, you know, ever. Definitely in the last 10 years, they've been two of the best players in the world. And I think that, you know, that was a great opportunity for me to listen and learn and try and understand what it's like to be the best. I mean, I certainly wouldn't put myself in their category, but I definitely think having the opportunity to be around them, you know, their passion and their enthusiasm and their will to succeed has certainly rubbed off on not just me, but a lot of the players that played underneath them. And I think you see that with blokes like Kurt Gidley now, who's, you know, again, in my opinion, in Australia, probably the top 3 most valuable players. And then obviously at Melbourne, again, I was blessed to play with blokes like, you know, Cameron Smith, who and Billy Slater, and Greg Inglis, you know, and Israel Folau, and all those sort of blokes that, you know, you throw a team together and it's just full of superstars, and players can only dream of that when they first start out, that they're going to get an opportunity to play with those blokes. And that's just to name a couple. There's more, Ben Kennedy and Adam McDougall and all those blokes. So, you know, that set me up to where I am now, to be able to play a bit of a leading role in the club, and I enjoy that because, again, like I've said publicly, the younger players have also had a big part in why I've stayed here. They're here for the right reasons. They want to learn. They're extremely hardworking, and I think when you've got that coming through the grades, the club's in good hands.
We touched briefly earlier on the fans. Special at East Stand, isn't it? What do you think? How motivational in bad circumstances and good even does that East Stand become? Of these fans that follow you all over the country, how on a weekly basis are they motivational to Clint Newton and Hull Kingston Rovers?
Without a doubt. I mean, the first time that I ran out, here was nothing compared to what I'd been told about. Obviously, you got to experience it to really believe it. I think that, you hear about the passion of the whole people and the rivalry between, FC and the Rovers, and I just couldn't believe, how passionate it was, and that's what I think the NRL and Australia really take for granted, and that's one of the other big reasons, as I said, why I've stayed here, is the fact that, the people who come and support here come and support it because they love it, they're passionate, they're born and bred here, and they support it no matter where they go in the country. I think Australia falls into the trap of, if you move from Newcastle to Sydney, you tend to change teams sometimes, or you move to a different part of Sydney, you might change teams. But here, if you're born here, you move away, 50 years later, you still support the same team, and it's like a religion. It's not just a sport. It's something that is bred into you. You're either an East Hull or a West Hull, and I'm very pleased to say that I play for the Rovers and not the other side. So to run out and see the East stand cheer, I think, in my opinion, is one of the biggest buzzes I've had, in rugby league, and it's hard to put it into terms, like running out into a grand final, but when you can see that everyone's over there for the right reasons, and rain, hail, shine, in trying times like, with the English economy at the moment, people are paying their money to come and support us in, when maybe they can't afford to, or, they might have to, not go out for dinner on a particular day or whatever, just so they can afford to come to the games. And I think that the players understand that, and I think that that's one of the main reasons why the players have been trying to bust their ass so far this year. And I think that there's no better feeling, and I think eventually they will be blessed with a good stadium. And I think once we do get that, and we need to get that, I think that we'll far dominate FC in the supporters, and I think that that's something that the fans should be very proud of.
That's a great answer. I don't know if you're aware, we have an official fans forum, and there's a few on there that's asked you a few questions. We'll put the option to do so.
Yep.
So just quick answers from you, because these are some silly questions, but I'll try anyway. We have one from the game, and he simply says, "Does the call still bother you?"
No, I mean, I think initially it was just the fact that it's such a big shock to the system, coming from an Australian summer where it's 40 degrees to come to the English winter where it's pitch black at 3 in the afternoon. I'm sure some of the English people, if they went to Australia after handling an English summer and went to an English winter and went to Australia for the summertime, I bet you they'd be nearly on the first plane back home because it'd be too hot. But it doesn't anymore. I think that you've just got to dress smart and make sure that your central heating's good.
We have a question from WK now. I believe she's called Wendy. She knows who she is, and she simply asks, "What's it like being the team's #1 pin-up?"
I think there's a few other boys that would probably be filthy that I've got that tag. I think Peter Fox considers himself one of the best-looking blokes in the Super League. I mean, he continually says to people that he's been in a calendar before, and Peter's very good in front of the camera, but behind the microphone, I don't think you'd get too much out of him. Mick Vella thinks he's a good sort. Nick Fozzard thinks he's a good sort. I don't know how. So, no, I appreciate that from Wendy, but I don't know whether I'd like that tag, but thanks anyway.
Yeah, you got it, mate. I know you got it. One from Onslow now. I don't know why he's asking. When is your sister coming over to watch you play?
My sister was meant to come over in a few weeks' time, but she's decided to go to South Africa on a honeymoon. So yeah, and so she is taken. But she'll probably be maybe over later in the year when the weather's a little bit warmer and when my dad comes over. You
can't understand it, can you? South Africa overall. Yeah. One from Rovers always then. Would you ever date an FC fan?
No.
Nice and simple. That's what I wanted to hear. And your last one, Clint, is from Redrow. Why are you always last out of the dressing room onto the pitch? Is that superstitious?
Yeah, it's started back when I was about 15. It was just. It also had a bit to do with the fact that my punctuality isn't great, so I was usually always the last one out of the change rooms. Putting my boots on or whatever, and also it also started again from my first ever game at Newcastle in Jersey Flegg, where I came out last and ended up getting man of the match. So I thought, I'll stick to it. But the boys always give me a hard time about trying to run out last. They think I do it to just get a standing ovation on the other side by myself. But I do it for a superstitious reason. But especially at Craven Park, I always love running out last because I love giving the supporters a clap and thanking them for turning out and hopefully what would be supporting another win.
Clint, you've been fantastic. That's been a wonderful interview. Thanks very much for doing it, and long may success continue.
Thanks
mate. Cheers, buddy. Hello everybody then, and a very warm welcome to a misty Craven Park for this fourth round Challenge Cup tie versus the Celtic Crusaders, and a quick rundown of today's sides for you then. For Hull Kingston Rovers, at fullback is Sean Briscoe, on the wing is Peter Fox. His centres today of Chris Wallum and Jake Webster, and your left winger is Liam Colburn. Off out today, welcome return for Paul Cook. Alongside of him, of course, last week's hat-trick hero Michael Dobson. Front row today of Nick Fozzard, Ben Fisher and Rhys Lovegrove. An impressive this season, Rhys Lovegrove, of course, pulling up trees this season for Rovers in his newfound position. Second row of Clint Newton and Ben Gallia. And your loose man today again is Scott Morrell. On the bench today for Rovers is Daniel Fitzhenry, Michaeli Aziu, Stanley Jean, and a welcome of back again for David Mills onto the bench for today's game after a 5-week absence. The Celtic Crusaders then quickly: Tony Duggan, Luke Dyer, Josh Hannay, Mark Delacote, Anthony Blackwood, Damien Quinn, Lincoln Withers, Ryan O'Hara, Peter Lupton, Mark Bryan, Adam Peake, Jason Chan and Marshall Choke. On the bench today for the Celtic Crusaders is Neil Budworth, Steve Tyra, our very own, one's own David Tangata-Tua and Jordan James. Lovely atmosphere again under the lights at Craven Park. The East stand bursting into song, which is what we like to hear. A quick mention of today's mascots then.
Our first mascot is age 9 and his name is Jack Danby. His school is Inman's Primary School and his favourite player is the returning Sean Briscoe. He is one of John Millington's grandsons and son of Rob Danby, ex-Rovers player. He likes football and he dislikes school. Didn't we all? His second mascot today is Thomas Nendrick. He's aged 12. His school is South Hunsley. His favourite player is Stanley Jean. He likes squash and his PS3 and he dislikes Hull FC and mushrooms. He's not a fun guy. An extra special little mention then for young 9-year-old Alex Millington today. Proud father Lee stood down now by the touchline waiting for her daughter to run out with the players, and I'm just hoping for her sake she's holding Michael Dobson's hand, who I know she's very fond of. Their school is St Andrews. Her favourite player is Michael Dobson, of course, as I've just said, and she is of course John Millington's granddaughter, our very own John Millington. She likes swimming and is actually a representative of the Kingston upon Hull Swimming Club and has won many medals doing so. Her dad has proudly told me. And she dislikes shopping, which I'm sure Lee will be very happy about. And Mum, of course, she having a bit of the pocket money there, Lee. Keep it in your wallet, son, keep it in your wallet. Just a word thing here at Craven Park then for the arrival of the teams. Celtic already out, of course, arrival of our team, I should say, of Hull Kingston Rovers. Great to see a couple of players coming back today in Sean Briscoe and Paul Cook that are going to be so vital for the team for the rest of this season, and just how well that season goes. It's great to see these players, of course, getting some very important game time, of course, in this Challenge Cup tie. Just before the massive game next week at Hull FC's KFC Stadium. There they come, then the mascots, very proud. I'm just looking to see if she's walking out with her favourite man. Led by Sean Briscoe, vice captain in the absence again of Big Vella. Everybody clapping, everybody's happy. And the team run onto the pitch, ready to do battle against this Celtic Crusaders side. Clint Newton's missing something. He's asking Billy Mallison, what am I missing? He said, no, it's okay, you've got your kits on, Clint. You'll get yourself out there and do your business. Today then it's a bit of a break from the league period, if you like. Nice to have a bit of something different and a piece of silverware. Rovers, in my opinion, are very capable of winning, Dave. If everything goes to plan, and obviously there's 5 Super League teams going to go out the hat tonight, out the competition tonight, and I think it could well be the best opportunity for a long time for this Hull Kingston Rovers side. I dare say it, but I'll have to say it, to go to Wembley. Wembley! Michael Dobson it is then, under these fantastic young spotlights at Craven Park with a A-star roaring that'll get this game underway. His arm goes in the air and off we go. Kicks it down to the Celtic 10-metre line. Over there on that far side, you'll have to excuse me if I can't see the players very well. Blackwood it was, brought down now then. Ryan O'Hara there taking a running for the Celtic Crusaders. Can't get past the 2-man tackle. Big tackle there, 3-man Rovers tackle. Ben Fisher, one of the instigators, along with Clint Newton. Trying to, as they did in the league game, not frightened to pop this ball about, shift it about, try and create little gaps. This Celtic side, very unlucky not to win last week, I hear, at Warrington. That win will come, let's just hope it's not tonight here against us in the Challenge Cup. Last tackle then against the Celtic side. Quinn puts boot to ball. Ben Fisher has a little dart at him, gets away with it. Sean Briscoe then, gonna look for a gap. They'll be happy to get that first catch and run under his belt. Will Sean Briscoe after a long absence with a dead leg. Some dead leg that. Peter Fox, as is the case nowadays, and Colburn taking a couple of hits early on in the tackle count on the 40-metre line then. Ben Fisher gives it again to Colburn, who again drives 10, 12, 13, 14 yards upfield into the Celtic Crusaders half, and a little bit more. Fantastic running from Liam Colburn. Ben Fisher then acting half, puts it wide to Scott Rollo, again puts it wider to Clint Newton. Lights coming in on the fringes, does this second row from Australia. Holding down a little bit there, Mr. Olbert. No, he says, get on with it. Ben Fisher puts a little tip over the top. Depends which way it's going to bounce. Bounces awkwardly. Duggan watches it carefully and drops onto that ball. Great start for the Rovers then, Dave. Good effort. Good defensive first time out, good set of 6 for themselves.
Yeah, it's a good start from the Rovers here. Just got to keep the intensity up from the second half against Salford at weekend. I'm sure if we put in a similar performance to that second half, I'm sure we'll come away with a good victory here today. As you quite rightly say, Mike, with 5 Super League teams going out, one of them being either Saints or Leeds, dare I say it, it opens the competition up to just about everybody. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Tonight we've got to make sure that we turn up, we do all the little things right, make sure that we get the job done against Celtic. Liam Colburn then picks up the ball, has a quick run, looks to offload, wisely keeps hold of that ball on the Rovers 26 metre line. Dobson then plays it out to Jake Webster, who has a little jink, a little run, gains a couple more yards, makes it to the 38 metre line, 38 metre line. Fisher plays the ball, and Celtic suspiciously offside there, but we're not going to do anything. Rovers just get on with it. Tonight's referee being the French referee Thierry Alibert, who has given the penalty, given Celtic a chance, and said, actually, that was a bit round the chops, that. So we'll give Hulkies the Rovers a penalty here on the 40-metre line. East Stand responding and rising to the occasion tonight. Well, all I'll say to the East Stand is amen to that. Meanwhile, Rovers now bringing this ball in, trying to get into the red zone inside that 20-metre line. Fisher looking, see what the options are. Plays the ball to Dobson, who in turn gives it to Paul Cook. Paul Cook with a little offload there to Chrissy Wellham. Rovers now inside that red zone. Let's just hope they can be as clinical as they were on Sunday. Great pass there to Morrell, who gives it in turn to Jake Webster, who goes on the outside, gives it inside. Oh! Liam Colburn just brought down just short of the line. Dobson now, little kick through, which was really, really good, but Duggan sees it, marshals it well. Duggan just made it just back across his own try line. Did very, very well there, did Tony Duggan. So Celtic now trying to bring the ball away from their own try line. Having been under the first bit of pressure of this first half. Rovers line looking... no, I'm not going to say it, because every time I say it, something always happens, so I'll put the mockers on it. Fossard in the tackle there with Fisher. Reece Lovegrove getting through some work again, as he has done right throughout this season. Celtic going for a quick kick, just gets across the halfway line. Liam Colburn just watching the ball carefully, picks it up, runs it back, makes 10 metres more or less to the halfway line now. All keeps the Rovers starting to win the territorial battle. Peter Fox picks the ball and scoots very quickly inside the 40-metre line. Fisher now looking, gives the ball to Fossard. Fozzie's hard, makes his usual mandatory 7 metres there. Fisher now has a little look, a little scoop, gives it to Clint Newton. In the way of Sheila's wheels, Clinty Baby makes it to the 30 line. And the touchdown's just come on, flagging away. This could be interesting to see what happens here. Mr. Alibert says time off, please. We'll have a quick little look. And Mark Delacourt, who actually had a good game against Rovers in the recent league match, is brought across, has a quick word, says that was a bit of a grapple tackle. Stop messing about with Clint's good looks. Dobson with a nice easy penalty there. So Rovers with a set of 6 inside the red zone once again. Reece Lovegrove meets that ball at pace. Brought down in a solid 2-man tackle there from Celtic. Morrell looking for the options, shows and goes. And then he did what he did against Salford there, showed it a couple of times, went. And it's a great one, and Reece Lovegrove is across the line, but has he been held up? Yeah, he's been held up. Mr. Alibert, to be fair, was right on the spot. Mind, Mr. Alibert has had a good start to his Super League career. He was right on the spot there. Reece was wanting to put that ball down so he wouldn't have to do the naked run at the end of the season, get his score. Miss Alibert saying that Celtic, watch yourselves because you're going to be called offside. In fact, he has called it. It's another penalty to Hawkins Rovers. Another set of 6 here. Rovers mounting the pressure. Mounting the pressure now. Rhys-Love Grove takes another run inside that 10-metre line. Solid challenge there from the Celtic Crusaders, who, to be fair, have been doing well to hold Rovers out here, with this being the third set of 6 on the bounce for Old Kingston Rovers. I was just probing and pushing here, there and everywhere. Great ball to Dobson. Another good ball to Cookie. Out to Wellham, and Wellham's in. What a great try from Old Kingston Rovers. Well worked. Great pass out. Great pass to Paul Cook, who had his choice there. He could have given the ball to Wellham, or he could have missed it out, gone to Peter Fox. Peter Fox would have had a stroll of it. Either way, it's a try for Old Kingston Rovers. And it's just what we want, Mike. It's been solid. They started off well. They've been probing, they've been pushing, they've been mounting the pressure on the Celtic line, and eventually it just had to crack. It was some great passing manoeuvres there, great expansive rugby, which is what they did on Sunday in the second half against Salford, and it's a good sign there, because especially Paul Cook being back. Well, it's nice to see him, and back with a trademark pass there to Chrissy Wellham, who had a nice easy stroll in, or dive, shall we say.
Yeah, use his head, moist surface. He knows, they're not going to stop him from that close if he starts sliding. Brilliant try from Chris Wellham. He's making great strides this season, and I think the compliment paid to him by Tony Smith earlier on this week, much deserved. I think he will be in the reckoning for an England top if his form continues, or as it has been doing, gets better and better. Michael Dobson then bends that one through the middle of the post. Fantastic kick again from Dobson. Next to score here at Craven Park, Hultington Rovers 6, the Celtic Crusaders 0. Yeah, great start then, solid start. Looking good in attack, in both attack and defence, the Hultington Rovers at the moment tonight. As the mist just abates a little bit, enabling us to get a bit of a better view from up here in the gantry. I thought I'd show off tonight and wear my new tracky top, I wish I hadn't. Freezing. Paul Cook then watches this ball, he will do into his breadbasket, does so. Pops it off to Rhys-Love Grove, who has another good drive and takes it to the 13-metre mark. Fisher then in at Acton half, gives it off to Nick Fozzard. Nick Fozzard. Ben Fisher then goes out wide again. Rhys-Love Grove. How much work does that young man put into the game? Like I said last week, he's in all the top stats for the metres gained for prop forwards this Super League season so far. Bengali receives the ball, tries to find a gap, there he goes through, just brought down in a last ditch a tackle there. Ben Fisher now. Met there by Bryant and O'Hara in a two-man tackle. Michael Dobson there. Passes it inside to Ben Fisher. Ben Fisher kicks that ball. It's a great little kick. It's going to hold up too. It is, yep. Duggan forced to play the ball. Oh, fantastic tackle from young Wellham. Follows up his try with an awesome tackle on the full-back. Ex-Rovers Luke Dyer now just dives with that ball slightly as he's met on the 10-metre line. Quinn puts it out wide there to Anthony Blackwood, I'm assuming that is on that far side. Two-man tackle then, Clint Newton and Scott Morrell, 12 metres out from the roll line. Quinn goes wide with that ball. Danacourt takes the ball up to the 20-metre line, where Ian Taylor's brought down in a two-man Rovers tackle. Nick Fozzard and Jake Webster, I think he was on that far side. Jake Webster getting in at the tackle with Rhys-Love Grove. Mark Bryant brought down to his knees, can't go nowhere. Last tackle already then against this Celtic Crusaders team. That ball takes a bit of an awkward bounce, so he's have to get there. Fox is looking at it, Briscoe's looking at it. Briscoe takes leave it to me, son, I'll take control, and does so. Oh, he hammered in the tackle, great tackle there. That's okay, come off his foot. Peter Fox now looking for a gap. Took a bit round the chops, but he was sliding into that one. He couldn't really get away with it. Dobson then. Bengalia again working on this left-hand side fringe, and Paul Cook's awfully wide on the left, so he's had his orders as Cookie. Nick Fozzard. Yeah, he certainly does only know one way. That way is forward. Very rarely he takes a backward step or force back. Dobson again with a little dink over the top, and that's just going to wiggle its way. That again keeps in the field of play. These are cracking kicks from Dobson. He's going to get taken back. No, he's not. Drops down to his back, a yard from his own line. Luke Dyer amongst to act in half position. Feeds it wide to Blackwood, who is met well in a 2-3-man tackle and dragged back with his legs on the floor, so that's allowed. 5 metres from his own line then. Oh, he's penalised Rovers there. Hand in the tackle, he's saying. I'm sure he gave the hand in the tackle sound there, mate. Celtic Crusaders then boot that ball 22 metres from their own line after gaining a penalty. A bit of a relieving penalty, but they haven't gained many yards. Great hit there by the 3 men of Rovers on Adam Peake. Bengalia again doing what he does best and dominating his opposition forwards. O'Hara going nowhere there, but does offload the ball. And again, that's gone straight into touch there from the Celtic Crusaders, trying to play the game too sharp on a night like tonight. The gap really wasn't there to go for, nor was the pass. The Rovers player had already moved up in defence and he wasn't going to go around him, so the only way he could go was forward and into touch. Rovers then will have the head and feed on the 40 metre line. Michael Dobson will put the ball into the scrum. Does so, feeds into the second row's feet. Paul Cook receives the ball, puts a little thing off there. This is his man out, does Bengalia. Some good little play there, some good little interaction on that far side, and ultimately ends up with Sean Briscoe being brought down 35 metres short. Peter Fox looking for a gap, bounces on his Liam Colburn looking for a gap, bounces on his feet so he can jump out of the way. Michael Dobson doesn't miss out his man this side. Reece Lovegrove drives them legs forward again and makes some good yards again. Does it the tough way, does Reece every week. Fisher passes that one pretty sharply to Nick Fozzard, who again goes forward. Nothing out of the ordinary from Nick Fozzard, just grounds them legs forward week in, week out. Great pass there. Jake Webster bounces one off, bounces two off. Still going forward is Jake Webster, gets to within 7 metres of the Celtic Crusaders line. Last tackle against the Hull Kingston Rovers. That's a big kick out wide there. Who's going to go for it? Caught in his own dead ball area by Luke Dyer. He'll be looking for a quick run. The Rovers players though are back. Benkley was never onside, I'll tell you. Still, he gets away with it. 2-man Rovers tackle, just short of the 30 metre line. It's another good solid 3-man tackle by the Hull Kingston Rovers. Tying that ball up, keeping his feet on the floor so he can keep pushing him back. Another great tackle, 3-man tackle again. They've been beefed up in these tackles of the Celtic Crusaders side. Bryant puts out wide, so it's gone wayward again. Michael Dobson can't afford to miss that tackle and doesn't. 1-on-1, he brought him down. Now he's saying, you try to get up again, you're allowed to do that, and he does so. Quinn then receives the ball, puts a little dink over the top. Can he get there? Paul Cook's left to Paul Cook. I don't know what he's going to say here. The referee says he did knock it forward. I thought he was going to allow that play to go on for a short while. I thought he thought the Rovers player had knocked on him, he was going to let it go on.
Nah. That's a no. Without a doubt, that was a no. It's good play though from the Celtic Crusaders. Just a little warning to Rovers that they're going to have to continue as they have done in the opening 10-15 minutes here of this match. Going to have to make sure they continue doing the simple things well. Lay the platform. Jake Webster with a good run there to the 30 metre line. Liam Colburn now trying to look for a gap. That just wasn't there. Takes the tackle. Clint Newton now sprints into that one and he's brought down in a 3-man tackle. But what a good run there by Clint Newton. Jake Webster spits a little gap. Nearly burst through that gap. Good run there from Jake Webster into the Celtic Crusaders half, and it's a good little kick through from Michael Dobson again. Great kick, putting the pressure on Celtic Crusaders, pinning them back in their own half. Celtic having to bring this ball away most of the time from more or less on their own try line. There'll be a scrum on the Celtic Crusaders 10 metre line, and this is where we want the game to be played. Rovers dominating the territory, as you quite rightly say, Mike. And it looks like we're going to be having a substitute very shortly. David Mills will be coming onto the field. We'll let you know very shortly who for. In the meantime, Rovers defence manning this up. Paul Cook in the tackle there. Celtic trying to bring this ball away. Good run there by Tony Duggan. Very dangerous players to quite rate him. Very good attacking fullback. Dealt quite well with the kick throughs as well so far defensively. Some good tackling here from Hull Kingston Rovers, but Celtic not afraid to throw this ball about. It's a decent kick. Liam Colburn marshals it well, spots a little gap to the outside, goes for it. He's a big man to bring down, is Liam Colburn when he gets running. Rovers here just doing the simple things here. He's not really a night to be really throwing it about too much. David Mills on the field for, in fact that's David Mills, his first touch of the ball. He's on the pitch for Nick Fozzizard. Fisher then gives the ball to Dobson, who in turn gives it to Briscoe. Oh, and Scott Morrell, there was a half gap and he went for it, but Celtic defence up to the job. Dobson gives the ball to Clint Newton, makes it to the 30 line. It's the 5th tackle. What will it be this time? Dobson puts up a big high one, you can hardly see that. It's going to come down, and to be fair, that was a great take. That was a great take from Duggan. That ball had snow on it, you could hardly see it in the mist. Rose defence scurrying in. Chrissy Welland been lucky not to get blown there for lying on at the tackle. Great tackle there from David Mills. I think David Mills tonight has got a point to prove. Oh, Scott got a big hit in, but Celtic managed to offload that ball, and there's a half gap. And Celtic could be away here. It's a good run. Oh, great tracking back from Jake Webster. What great tracking back, what a great tackle. Celtic there still trying to break through. If they'd have had the wise heads on, they could have got that ball wide and there would have been an overlap. They do go wide anyway. It's the last tackle, kick through. And Briscoe says, thank you very much, I'll have that. David Tangata-Tua, an Old Rovers hero, is on the pitch for Celtic. Back more or less on his home turf. Rovers now, Peter Fox gets his mandatory 8, 9, 10 yards. Colburn now takes the ball. Seems to be the usual play. Works really well from Kingston Rovers. David Mills takes the ball and drives it in. Good driving run, that's the second good driving run from David Mills. And another good kick from Michael Dobson, again pinning this Celtic Crusaders team back on the 10 metre line. Now I've got to say, my kicks, I know Celtic had a little breakthrough, which, you know, it was good play from them. You've got to give credit where credit's due. But the Rovers defence scrambled well. Jake Webster, great tackle, and we're winning the territory at the moment. It's the simple things, dominate the territory, and I think this game is there for the taking. Although you've got to give credit to Celtic, they come here and they're throwing the ball about, they're trying, which is more than probably, to be fair, what Salford did in the second half on Sunday. But Rovers here, I think it's a good opportunity, to get into that 5th round, and hopefully, maybe, as you say, go all the way to Wembley.
We can but hope, we can but hope. Celtic then, bringing the ball away from the scrum. Ooh, looked like a little bit of a knock on there from Luke Dyer. Was not called. 3-man tackle then. Makes a good few yards there, there's a Celtic player. 3-man Rovers tackle. Again, he's put that ball inside, and again, ooh, on the shoulders, says Mr. Albert. Dave Mills making a bit of an impact since he's come on. 2 great tackles from Mr. Mills. 2 that his dad had been proud of. Mark Brightling trundles that ball forward as he has done since the kick-off. Great little kick there. Lincoln Wood just put it to the touchline. No, just stopped there. Peter Fox will... Oh, I thought he was going to sell the dummy, but he decided to put it inside to Sean Briscoe, who's met well in a 2-man tackle on his own 10 metre line. Michael Dobson then does go wide with that ball. Chris Waller moving into the middle of the field to take a run up and a hit up for his forwards. Oh, it's a great offload there. Jake Webster's trying to go for the gap, looking for somebody to offload it to. Spins out the tackle. Next an extra 4 or 5 metres, extra 6 or 7 even, with his extra couple of yards in the tackle. Fisher then. Everything seems a bit snappy with Fisher. At in half today. Penalty against the Celtic Crusaders side, who seems to take a step up before the ball was played, and Mr. Albert tells him, yeah, he was offside. I really don't like to see any sort of play back checking the referees, and that's unfortunately what Adam Pink seemed to be doing there. Seemed to be questioning the referee's decision. Good cut then to the 40 metre line, and Ben Fisher will tap this ball and give it again to Michael Dobson. Dobson misses out the first one, gives it to Reece Lovegrove, the ever-willing young runner from Oz. Or a Englishman now, I think, anyway. Especially honorary Yorkshireman, that is. Clint Newton again. Pushes forward. And those instantly recognisable white cycling shorts. Oh, it's a great ball. Bengalia tries to go through a gap. Just close on him at the last minute there. Paul Cook goes to acting half. Whips that ball out wide to Michael Dobson. Again, it's gone wide. Scott Morrell looks for a gap. It's clattered. 18 metres short of the Celtic Crusaders line. Going to that right side again. Missed on the pass, Jay Webster. Just offloads it fantastically well there inside to Michael Dobson. He gives it to David Mills, who again offloads it to Dobson. Dobson looking for the gap. Oh, he just can't get his arm free. Last tackle against the Robins, a metre short. There's plenty of room on this far side. Oh, that's a silly pass from Paul Cook. Luke Dye's going through. You can see why Paul Cook tried it. Got to play sensible, bad conditions. Offside against Celtic Crusaders. Paul Cook would have got away with it anyway. But I like to see that it is something a little bit different. It's creative. You can either knock them and encourage them, and I will encourage to play like that all day long. Sometimes frightens you, but ultimately you can win your games with something a little bit special. Ben Fisher then to tap the ball. If that's 2 minutes behind the line from every player. And Maurice Flindsey. First drive up then by big David Mills towards the line. It's a work play round the head there. Nope. Yard shot still then, Bengalia. Misses 3-4 man out there. Dobbo gets the ball. Scott Morrell has options, decides to take the run himself. Bit of a steadier there from Scott, I think, on that far side. Ben Fisher moves to acting half again. Reece Lovegrove looking for a try, not happy to have one disallowed for being held up in the area, of course. Work rate much deserving of a try in most appearances. Oh, Michael Dobson there was thinking about the pass before he actually caught it and ultimately knocks on. A little bit of indiscipline there from Michael Dobson, but still trying something different, moving this ball about on a night like tonight with a swirling mist in the air, very moist. The air is very moist, very wet. Just let me clarify that. The air is very moist, as is the ball, of course. Celtic put that ball in then, and Dalicote will have a run out. Does so. He's been dragged back fantastically well towards his own goal line in a 4-man Rovers tackle. Bengalia and Chris Wadham shoot back out to the line. Attacking again down this near side. Brought down. Josh Haney brought down, but illegally so. Says Mr. Albert, who's having a good game today. As McCarty who enters the field of play for a well-earned break for Reece Lovegrove. Oh, that looked decidedly forward. Brian trundles the ball forward. I say trundle because that's what he does. He doesn't do anything special, just walks that ball into the tackle but makes some good yards for the Celtic side. Great defensive Rovers line there. Lincoln with us somewhat hammered to the ground. Sorry, my mistake. That was Chan, who I referred to against in the last Celtic game as Alex Chan. It isn't Alex Chan at all. Fantastic tackle on that far side by the big New Zealander, Jake Webster. Damien Quinn there. Tell the linesman, so where are you now with your flag? Did you not see that? David Tangata met well in a 2-man tackle, but gained some good yards for Celtic. Peak then, tries to offload that ball. Danny, no, it's not Dalicote. It is Dalicote on that far side. 2-man tackle, grappled to the floor. Webster and Colburn partnership working in good tandem there. It's a horrible ball to catch, but Paul Cook does so. And he's put to ground just 12-13 metres short of his own line. Messed about with a bit there to play the ball. Never mind, Chris Wadham. Big handoff that we could have becoming accustomed to. That's a great pass inside. Is Foxer going to get away? No, oh, he just gets brought down there. Not Peter Fox, of course, it's Liam Colburn, my mistake. McCarty, as usual, made some fantastic metres last week and brought a new impetus to the game when he come on. I thought against Salford. Dobson then. Looks left, goes left. Bengalia. Oh, he goes well into them tackles as Bengalia. Doesn't stop when he gets there. Michael Dobson. Oh, it's a little kick through. Chris Wadham makes the ball again. Can he go all the way? Chris Wadham's going to pass the ball now. Oh, his man was out wide. chose not to pass to Scott Morrell. The ball was on, there was nobody marking Scott Morrell. Young Chris Willem there, just a bit naive, should have passed that ball to his right. Brought down on the last tackle then against the Rovers. Duggan in his own dead ball area. I assume it's Duggan taking a bit of a, yeah, no, just there's no mistake in them ultraviolet blue and red cycling shorts what he's got on. It's a great tackle there from Paul Cook on this near side. Just a bit of a wrong option taken there from young Chris Willem. Would have been a superstar, of course, again had he scored the try, but Scott Morrell was in a better position to do so. Round the chest, says Thierry Albert, and rightly so. Marshall Choke then passes that ball out wide. Chan it was who took that tackle. David Tangata drives the ball forward, made some good yards there again. Last tackle against the Celtic side then, just on halfway. Quinn again it is who receives the ball, and again will kick it. Peter Fox has to watch this ball carefully and does so. Opportunity for Foxy to go on the outside of him and skin them all. Oh, put it beyond Paul Bunn's head then. That's dragged out, should be back to one. It is so. Peter Fox looking for work on that far side after a dodgy pass himself, and that was the dodgiest of all Dodgingtons, was that one. Michael Dawson inside. Ooh, that's round his head, sir. Offloads it. Referee says play on. Scott Morrell gives it wide to Clint Newman. Of course, scored a hat-trick the last time he played against this opposition. McCarley then looking to goal it. Oh, he's smashing his way through the line. It's McCarley, 15 yards short of the Celtic Crusaders line. Fitzhenry it is then, who's on for Fisher. Cookie, what can he do different? That's unlucky. No real options there for Paul Cook. His centre came inside and his wing went outside. Michael Dobson then, I'm expecting a little kick, doesn't do so. Folsby, oh, there's man out wide. Clint Newman scored again against the Celtic Crusaders. Opposition he likes to play against. Score against, another 4 points for Hull Kingston Rovers. Brings the score here at Craven Park to Hull Kingston Rovers 10, Celtic Crusaders 0. Kick to come, David.
Great try there for Clint Newman. Rovers working the ball really, really well down the flanks. Going to one side and then not afraid to spin the ball out to the other and then bring it back again. Gaps always occur when that happens. Celtic defence, which has been quite solid this half, found wanting there and eventually the pressure in the territory that Rovers have had in this first half starting to pay off. Of course, Clint just loves scoring against Celtic. So Michael Dobson now with what could be quite a difficult kick in these conditions. Misty, moist, as Mike so eloquently put it. It's a bad sign for Celtic Crusaders while this conversion is about to be taken. Tony Duggan limping off. And it's another great conversion from Michael Dobson, continuing his form from the second half against Salford at the weekend. 100% effort so far. So the scores here at Craven Park in this Challenge Cup 4th round at Craven Park. Hull Kingston Rovers 12, Celtic Crusaders 0. Seems that you won't be able to see the scoreboard even if Roy turns the camera around to focus on it, because you can't see it. The mist coming in and rolling in off the Humber here. That ball gone up high. Paul Cook watches it well, gives it to Michaeli Alzu, who goes on a big run. Brought down in a solid two-man tackle there from Celtic. Paul Cook plays the ball to Peter Fox, who scoots it in, gets it to the 25-metre line. Fitzhenry now, who's on the pitch for Ben Fisher, who's just come off. Fitzhenry looking dummying, looking for the gaps, and again a tackle that arguably was a bit around the chops. Mr. Alibert says no, it wasn't. And who are we to argue? It was not round his chops, it just round his shoulder. Okay, that's where he gets across that halfway line, finally brought down on the 5th tackle. And Michael Dobson gives a little chip over the top. Briscoe sprinting onto it. Eventually Fitzhenry gets there with Scott Morrell. Brings the Celtic Crusaders now. Celtic probably knowing that they've got a job on their hands to get back into this match. Great tackle there from Chrissy Wellham. Ably assisted by Peter Fox. Josh Hanna offloading the ball there to Ryan O'Hara, who unfortunately is taken round the chops a little bit by David Mills. Got to say, it was round the chops. So having said that, Mr. Alibert, is that 1 or 2 go previous to that? But just get on with it. Rovers still looking pretty solid here. Good for their 12-point lead. Marshall Chalk plays the ball. A bit of a juggle there. that could have gone anywhere. By Jason Chan. Celtic now trying to play this ball around, trying to probe for gaps. There are none. Rovers watching that blind side. A little bit outnumbered, but Briscoe's across and marshals it well. Took the pressure. Made sure he didn't go across his own try line. Jake Webster plays the ball. On to Clint Newton, who can just about make it out. We need spotters across in the east stand, I think, to shout out who it is. Rovers now just sticking the ball up the jumper. Well, mind you, as I say that, he spins it out wide. Paul Cook doing what Paul Cook does best. Great spinning ball there out to Bengalia. Takes the tackle. I've got to say, Celtic suspiciously offside, but we'll just continue on with it. Fitzhenry takes the tackle. It's the 5th tackle now. Rovers deep in their own half. Dobson gives it to Paul Cook, who gives it plenty of well in, splits the fullback and the winger. It's a great kick from Paul Cook, and the chase, the Rovers chase is coming up quickly. Great kick from Paul Cook, and that is something we have been missing. And what a great chase, and Scott Morrell first up there with Paul Cook himself in that chase. That's it, hold him down. Great chase, great tackle there from Rovers. But it's something that we have missed. Paul Cook's long kicking ability. No offence to Michael Dobson, but when Cookie gives it some leather, it goes a long way. He's starting to get behind the boys here on what is a pretty cold night here at Craven Park. Like saying that he's really hard because all he's got on is his new team tracksuit, which doesn't look rather good, I have to say. Celtic now on the 5th tackle, and that's got snow on it. It's in the mist. Who's going to get it? It's come off the Celtic Crusaders player. So that should be the handover to Kingston Rovers. Jake Webster plays the ball. Michael Dobson goes for a quick scoot. Or was it his twin brother Briscoe? Who knows? Who cares? Rovers have got this ball. Playing it off. Foxy goes for a little bit of a sideways run. Bengalia then plays the ball to Fozzard. Fozzard makes it across to the halfway line. Fitzhenry then waiting for the ball. Takes the ball, gives it to Mikhail Azuri, who just trundles it in. Very static, but very unlike Macca that. Paul Cook trying to inject a bit of pace, spins the ball to Clint Newton, who unfortunately took his eye off the ball. It was a great pass from Cookie, and I think Clint for once made a little bit of a boo-boo there. She's not like him. So, with approximately a couple of minutes left to half-time here, Celtic Crusaders with a scrum on their own 40-metre line, giving it out to Marshall Chalk, who takes a very strong challenge there from Rovers. And Mark Delacourt there running the ball in, gets it to halfway line. And they're trying to break through Celtic. It's some good tackling from Scott Morrell, another good tackle. Mr. Alibert says no, Rovers offside, giving Celtic probably the first real chance inside the Rovers half in this first half. Another penalty there against Rovers. So Celtic now well and truly inside the Rovers red zone for the first time in this half. Looking for a way to get across this try line just on the stroke of half time. Rovers determined to keep them out. Celtic. Oh, and that's a silly transition. Oh, and Chris Wellham very close to the interception there. Bit of jiggling about, very close to getting it. Eventually, Mr. Alibert says that's a knock-on. So, Celtic, we should be having the put in here, I think. 12 metre line, scrum. 12 metres from the Rovers line. Rovers a bit short on this blind side. And Celtic, surprise, surprise, going down that blind side, but a good tackle there. Chris Wellham in there, Ben Gallier in there, spotting there was shortages on that side. Celtic's trying to spin this ball every way, which way? And that's a great tackle again by Jake Webster. A number of times he's come out of that line fast. He's made the tackle and made it stick. Rovers determined to keep this Celtic Crusaders out before half-time. Celtic, on the other hand, determined to try and get across that Rovers try line. And that's a drop ball there by the Celtic Crusaders under pressure. Rovers with the scrum down. For half-time, Hooter about to go anytime now. Rovers just taking the time over this. Not in any particular great rush. Knowing that the Hooter's going to go for half-time any second now. So Michael Dobson now feeds it straight to loose forward. Ball comes out, gives it straight to Liam Colburn, who goes for a good run. Another great run by Liam Colburn. Dobson now gives it to Fozzie Zard. Does his usual 5-6 yards there. Rovers just making the easy metres, nothing too drastic. Macca met well by Celtic, 3-man tackle there. Fitzhenry spins, comes one way, then the other. Good run back by Fitzhenry. What was it? Rovers now, Ben Gallier getting into the Celtic Crusaders half. It's the 5th tackle. Stan the man gives it out to Paul Cook, who does a lovely little grubber kick straight down to the corner, straight into the Celtic Crusaders 10. So the scrum down here to Celtic Crusaders 10 metres from their own line. And I've got to say, Mike, it's been a very solid half here from Ulkinster Rovers. Conditions not really conducive to the expansive rugby. Mike's just jumping up and down, giving me the word that I needed then. But it has been a good solid half here from Ulkinster Rovers. Celtic, to be fair, have tried. You've got to say they've turned up and they've given it a good go. And you've got to say Rovers have been very solid, done what they've had to do, and deservedly are 12 points to the good.
Yeah, that's all it's about today, not a night like tonight. Horrible conditions, nice and solid. Check the chances when they come, which a couple of them they have. Just the one wrong from taken by young Wallen, but you can't knock him for that. He's done many good things this season. We can't knock him for one bad thing. And I've got to say, Jake Webster, as a tackler, we've seen one-on-one second to nobody in the team. He really is solid. Good to see. It's now we know why the band's smoking at Publix for arenas and stuff. You know what I mean? Last tackle then against the Celtic Crusaders, and the one chance to play. There goes the half-time hooter then. Solid half from Rovers. Not spectacular, but on a night like tonight, you wouldn't expect so. Great half from Ulkinster Rovers. Half-time score here at Craven Park of Ulkinster Rovers 12, the Celtic Crusaders 0. Welcome back then everybody for the second half here at Craven Park. Kingston Rovers against the Celtic Crusaders. 4th round Challenge Cup tie. Half-time score of Kingston Rovers 12, Celtic Crusaders 0. Kingston Rovers will be looking to carry on in the same vein as they left off in that first half. Nothing spectacular, just nice and solid. Try and get a passage through to the next round of the Challenge Cup. Dave would usually do the second half intro, but looking at him now with his blue face after he's just been smoking himself silly. Obviously, you can't help but breathe all the smoking around here. What I mean by that is he's been up and down the stairs twice, and with all this mist and smoke around, he's going to take a bit onto his chest. He looks tired for it. Up and down them stairs twice, Dave. Thanks for the chocolate, by the way. Celtic Crusaders then make their way onto the pitch for the start of the second half. Kingston Rovers having the now obligatory 2 or 3 minute warm up before the half starts, just so that there's no coldness in them bones. They're all warmed up and ready to go. No changes by the looks of it for the start of this second half. All the Johnny Green Giants go running across the field. Bit of tinkering at the start of the second half then, and Thierry Albert say, come on, let's get on with it. The mist has just lifted slightly during the half-time break. It coming slightly dense. Let's hope it doesn't become a problem. I don't know quite how long it is before a game's considered a result in inclement weather conditions. Celtic kick the ball off then on that far side. Ooh, he's going to get there. Yeah, I think that's Stanley Jean that just falls on the ball on that far side. Never had an option. No good just sticking your knee there as Peter Fox tries to bring it away. 3-man Celtic Crusaders tackle and tell him differently, can't go nowhere. Nick Fozzard, who does start the second half of course, so there's one replacement that I've missed. Dobson receives the ball in a wide position. Clint Newton looking to go round his men. That's a great offload to Jacobson going down this near side. The Roger Mullen stand side brought down then just into the Celtic Crusaders half of the field. Fitzhenry whips that ball out to Michael Dobson, who puts the kick over the top and down the middle of the field. Well watched there by Anthony Blackwood. On for the injured Tony. Well, he's not on, he's replacing the injured Tony Duggan at full back, of course. What do you reckon then, Dave? More of the same second half? Steady, if unspectacular?
Well, it's not the conditions to be chucking the ball about, that's a fact. A bit cold and a bit chilly. At least there's one thing, running up and down them stairs, getting everybody the drinks. It's kept me warm. The only thing is, I'm out of breath, even now. About time we had some lifts put in here on the gantry. It's cold conditions, very moist atmosphere. It's definitely weather for sticking the ball up your jumper, I think. Or up the jersey. Last tackle here for Celtic. And it's another big high one, down to the corner. Liam Coleman lets that ball bounce and I think it'll go dead. Yes, it goes dead. 20-metre tap here for Kingston Rovers. And it's been a solid start to the second half by both teams. I think Justin Morgan will be probably saying more of the same, I think. Safe if not spectacular. Although having said that, the 2 tries that Rovers scored were pretty good, very expensive rugby. Stan the man runs the ball in. And Mr. Alibert says that Stan the man lost that ball. Personally, I thought it was a bit reefed out. Chrissy Wellham there, just missing the tackle on Alex Chan, but he comes back and makes sure that, sorry, not Alex Chan, Jason Chan. Made sure he nailed him on the second attempt. over Rovers. Caught offside there. So Celtic now is trying to start the second half as they try to finish the first in the Rovers half. Getting inside that the red zone, as we call it, inside the 20-metre line. Just 10 yards now from that Rovers line. Rovers defence going to have to be wide awake and ready for this. Celtic not afraid to actually throw the ball around. That's a good little run there. Damien Quinn brought down there. Lost some metres there, did Celtic. Lincoln Withers, who's quite dangerous, not afraid to try and offload it. He's brought down just in front of the post. Lovely little kick through, but Briscoe up to the job, I think, there. Yes. Great little kick through there, but Sean Briscoe says, no, you're not going to make anything from it, apart from a dropout. So Rovers here with the dropout, taking the time over it, not surprisingly. Celtic starting this second half, meaning business. Well, having said that, that's probably only the second time they've been within sight of the Rovers try line, to be fair. Big kick there out. Damien Quinn takes the ball, offloads it nicely to Adam Peake, who runs it in and is met in a three-man Rovers tackle there. Scott Morrell tackling away again with Clint Newton. Scott Morrell again in the tackle there with Nick Fozzizard. Lincoln Withers gives the ball out wide. There's an overlap there. They can play it, but no. The tackling, bit weak, dropped off. Celtic player thought, I'll go for the gap instead, but if he'd have had his head up, they'd had the overlap. Lincoln Withers slipping there. Good job too. Rovers come out and nail him to the floor. Celtic trying to throw this ball around. Delacourt offloads it nicely. Oh, Jake Webster, who first half was Mr. Safe Hands, eventually gets hold of Josh Hannay, and it's the fifth tackle. Quinn kicks it through, and well taken there. Be a 20-metre tap, well taken there. And Chrissy Wellen brings this ball away, spots half a gap, gets taken a little bit around the chops, but Miss Alibert says, no, that's all right, that's fine. Peter Fox pushes off one challenger, takes the ball in, gets 10 yards. Rovers saying, right, let's get back to what we were doing in the first half. Let's get some territory, let's get some pressure on this Celtic Crusaders side. Fozzard plays the ball, gives it to Fitzhenry, who gives it in turn out to Webster. Colburn looks, sees the support. Fitzhenry's going into the corner, and it's a great try from Hulkinson Rovers. Well worked there. Great play the ball from Fozzard, who offloaded it to Fitzhenry, who spotted Jake Webster on the outside. Jake Webster burst through the gap, gave the ball to Colburn. Colburn brought the winger in. Great passing on the inside to the onrushing Fitzhenry, who says, thank you very much, I'll go straight into there to the corner. Great try from Hulkinson Rovers. Rovers showing that despite the conditions, they can still float this ball about. Some great passing, some great pace, some great support. A great team try there, I think, for Hulkinson Rovers. And Michael Dobson now with what could be quite a challenging conversion on the 20-metre line. Just a couple of metres in from the touchline. Mike's beckoning, he wants the mic, he doesn't want it to have the mockers put on it. So we'll pass it over to Michael.
Double then, Archie's over in his ever so familiar style. Has a wipe of the snitch. Strides back, hand by his side, strikes through, follows the ball through, puts it straight through the middle. Another fantastic kick from Monsieur Dobson. That was when he was at Catalan, wasn't it? Just sticks in mind. Monsieur Dobson. Score then at Craven Park, 18 points to none in favour of the Rovers. I think that was pretty telling actually, that the early pressure from the Celtic Crusaders failed to capitalise, and Rovers went down the other end of the field. There's all good signs too, and made them pay for their inability to put points on the board by scoring themselves. Stanley Jean There you go, that touch judge is on again. And he'll have something to say. The Celtic Crusaders team like speaking to the referee, it must be said. You're interested to see what he says here. Yeah, he's called him out. Bit of a facial there. O'Hara, I think it is, O'Hara. Ryan O'Hara, number 8, the big prop for Celtic Crusaders. Give him a better lift. Should take him another 10 yards there, in my opinion. As it is then, penalty to Rovers and Paul Cook, who I think is the best touch finder in this league. I've said that he books a 7-metre kick in, but I really do stick by what I said. Paul Cook receives the ball, gives it to Nick Fozzard, drops the shoulder and tries to barge his way through a 3-man Celtic tackle. Can't do so, brought down. Fitzhenry then gives it to the effervescent Stanley Jean, who takes the ball just onto the halfway line. Fitzhenry again at acting half, as you expect all good hookers to be. Dobson then, oh, he did really well there, did young Colburn, to even stop that ball going into touch, never mind keeping on of it and keeping his feet on this side of the white line. Takes the tackle then, having done so well to retain the ball. Nick Fozzard, he can't do the same, and he's brought down. There, dropped the ball. Got a chance to spread this ball wide now of the Celtic Crusaders team, and wide to go, and it goes wide again, and young Wallen brings down his opposite number on the far side. Anthony Blackwood, it was he brought down. Luke Dyer looking to gain some yards. Josh Hannay on that far side, my mistake, my apologies. Withers then puts the ball out wide. Scott Morrell was waiting for him to catch that ball and took him in open arms. Said, come here Quinn, your man. Adam Pickett tries to offload the ball, looks like a little knock on there. Referee says no, play on. Look to his touch, judges for assistance, and I think they got it right. I don't think the ball actually went forward. 3-man Rovers tackle then, that should be the 5th and last. Doesn't call it, says it's the 4th. O'Hara looking for the penalty there somewhat. Withers puts the ball out wide. Oh, fantastic hit from young Chris Wellham again. Becoming somewhat of a trademark is that tackle for Wellham. Closed the trial last week, of course, man and ball tackle for young Wellham. Damien Quinn with no other option rather than just to stick that ball into space and hope it goes into the right arms. It doesn't do so. Liam Colburn takes the ball for Hulkington Rovers on the 10-metre line and looks for a gap. Can't go through, but safely takes the ball to ground. Peter Fox, the other winger, moves in to have a run. Does so, gets to the 20-metre line. He stands singing and saluting Chrissy Wellham's name. I think credit has to be given to Hull Kingston Rovers supporters tonight for turning out in what's a horrible night here at Craven Park, in what's a fantastic crowd for a Carnegie Challenge Cup 4th round tie. Stand the man brought down there then on the 30-metre line. Daniel Fitzhenry kicked the ball there and Blackwood's underneath it. Scott Morrell eyeing him up, can't get to him. Does so eventually, tries to. Dobson chasing through and ultimately brought down by Daniel Fitzhenry tracking back. Neil Budworth then takes the ball up. Again, Fitzhenry tries to make the tackle. Clint Newton comes on the top and buries him. Lincoln Withers moves into the acting half position. Gives it to Big O'Hara. Again, Withers in that acting half. Quinn. Out wide, knock on there. Had to go forward, his hands were facing forward and he does so. Correct decision there again from Mr. Albert, who it has to be said, I think he's having a top game tonight. Fair on both sides, caught some good calls. Rovers will have head and feed then. 24 metres from the roll line. As Reece Lovegrove readies himself to make a return to the fold. I would assume Nick Fozzard's going to take another stint in the dugout. Just warming up his Reece. Looks very athletic at the moment. Streamlined, of course. But tremendously athletic figure. Jake Webster then deserves a try today. So far for me, man of the match for Rovers. Mr. Webster had a fantastic game. Colburn then looking to go for the gap, dips his shoulder, just brought down short of the halfway line. Fozzard receives the ball then and more or less gets 2 men at the same time. Peake being one of those men and Quinn being the other. Michael Dobson then gives it to Stanley Jean, who shows and goes. Brought down on the 40-metre line then of this Celtic Crusaders defensive line. Scott Morrell looks, dinks, kicks it over the top. It's going to stop dead in that corner. Stephen Tara, of course, on loan from St Helens. Brought down on his own 10-metre line after picking the ball up well. Blackwood looking to relieve the pressure on his pack again. Gets 3 or 4 yards from the play the ball. Luke Dyer, who we know from his days at Rovers, of course, isn't frightened to have a run and offer his pack a bit of relief. Ooh, there's a big hit going in there on Peter Lupton. Bounced off it though, all credit to him. Here we go again, Celtic Crusaders trying to beef the way upfield and making some good yard there. Josh Hannah, 5th tackle that is. Peter Fox watching it backwards, takes that ball fantastic. Well, it's not an easy ball to take, coming over your shoulder regardless of where you take it. Oh, he's going for the gap! Peter Fox has got space in front of him! Oh, he's run straight at his defender, he's gone through him! Oh, he's away again! Just brought down 28 metres from the Celtic line. Never before has a man got to be so excited. Clint Newton receives the ball, dying to the floor slightly. Having a look for options, will offload the ball, I'm sure. Does so. This time into the hands of Paul Cook. Cook, you're looking to just steady it down, he's saying. There's now on, let's just take care, pay attention to what's on the field and what options we've got. Reece Lovegrove has to reach backwards slightly for that ball and takes care to catch it. 15 metres then, 13 metres from the Celtic line. Rovers again on the attack in this second half. Bit of a 1-2 going on there. And look at that for Celtic. Knock on there from Celtic. Damien Quinn again questioning the referee. He really needs to stop that. He's I don't know if he's playing on the refs. Well, he's a newcomer into the ref, you know what I mean? He's a National League last year, done really well since he's been here, but I think they're playing up to him a little bit today, and I think they should stop it. He should be more professional than that, in my opinion, Dev.
Couldn't agree more with you, Mike. What they're forgetting is actually Thierry Alibert speaks pretty perfect English. He's stand rising to the efforts of Hull Kingston Rovers in the second half. Rovers just starting to exert a bit of pressure, starting to get a bit more of the territory like they did in the first half. Paul Cook then looking for the options, got on the run around. Dobson takes the ball in, brought down well though by the Celtic Crusaders defence. Hull Kingston Rovers now. Briscoe looks, shows and goes, gets inside the 10. Rovers here knocking on the door. Fitzhenry looking, trying to look for his second try of the night. Scragged down, just short. Dobson then spots the gap. Oh, Clint Newton, very close to bursting through, but he wouldn't have counted because Thierry Alibert says that ball wasn't played properly. So Quinn with a big kick makes touch more or less on their 30. The stand reminding us that there's a certain game a week today. I didn't realise there was a game, was there? Apparently it's Good Friday and there's something special about that day. Can't think what it could be. Back to the job in hand. Celtic Crusaders now inching their way towards the halfway line. Still not afraid to throw this ball around. Quinn offloads it really well there. And Josh Hannay gets scragged again and Chrissy Wellham again with a big tackle, and Josh Hannay felt that, gets up rather groggily, and Quinn receives the ball static for the first time tonight and is easily tackled. Number 10 for Celtic there, running through Matt Bryan. He's had a quiet game compared to what he did last time he was here at Craven Park, but Celtic not afraid to give this ball a bit of there, and they do so. And Briscoe taking the ball quite well, a bit unlucky, slips and is taken into touch. There's a dangerous little kick that Briscoe came across, took it well, but ended up on his knees. Got pushed into touch, and it's not a good sign here for Rovers because Briscoe hasn't got back up yet. Gets back up, shakes himself down and says, "No, I'm all right." Briscoe had to take that. And Rovers looking a bit short on this blind side. The side closest to the Roger Millwood stand right underneath us, looking a bit short. I just hope Celtic don't spot that. Yeah, we've got the other side. But great tackle there. Paul Cook took the man the ball and everything has driven this Celtic Crusaders side back there. Great tackle, and Celtic a bit of 6 and 7 set. Nobody knowing who should be picking the ball up after they play the ball. In the end, Lincoln Withers does so. Plays the ball, but that's a knock on, and Rovers pick up the ball and they're bursting through. Great tackling from Hull Kingston Rovers, and that has got to be another penalty. And if they're not careful, Celtic Crusaders could be a man being sent to the bin. I thought laying down these days was a trip to the bin. Possibly not. Not tonight anyway. Rovers then on their own 40-metre line, driving this ball in. David Mills warming up on the touchline, will be coming on shortly. Who for? We'll let you know as soon as we know. Fitzhenry then plays the ball to Dobson, gives the ball instead to Jake Webster, who's had a top game tonight as Jake Webster, filling in for the injured Chev Walker, who apparently will be back a lot quicker than we thought he would. We all thought he'd be out for 3 months. Apparently it might be just 6 to 8 weeks instead. Fitzhenry gives the ball to Morrell, who in turn gives it to Cookie, who offloads it there. Good little kick through there, but Celtic marshal it well. And that was a tackle. Thierry Alba says that was a tackle made. Plays the ball. Celtic trying to bring this ball away. I think it was Delacourt there trying to surge his way through. Tangata makes his mandatory 7-8 yards there. He's run the ball back well as Tangata tonight. Done really well for Celtic. Lincoln Withers then kicks the ball through. He's gone into the mist, but Sean Briscoe says, no, I'll have that. And he runs it back, makes it to the 10-yard line. He actually collected that ball on the bounce. Didn't take it on the full, which is not like him. So Nick Fossard makes his way to the touchline. David Mills rejoins the action. Obviously with a point to prove, to try and say to Justin Morgan, I'm here to stay. I want an extension to my contract. Rovers in the meantime trying to bring this ball out. Rhys Lovegrove with a decent run back. He's getting through a lot of work as Rhys Lovegrove, as he normally does. Clint Newton gets that ball more or less to the 40-metre line, and it's the 5th tackle. Need a good kick here. Dobson gives it to Paul Cook, who gives plenty of leather on that, and that's disappeared into the mist. Who knows where that's gone, and it's gone deep into Celtic territory. Blackwood, it is, picks it up. Anthony Blackwood gets absolutely hammered in a 3-man Rovers tackle. Good chase there by Hull Kingston Rovers, trying to keep the pressure on this Celtic Crusaders side. Luke Dyer then brings the ball away, makes 10 yards. Good run there by Luke Dyer. So Celtic is trying to bring this ball, trying to get into the Rovers territory, trying to get something out of this game where so far they don't have much change from it. To be fair to them, their heads haven't gone down. They keep trying it, they keep passing this ball, they keep offloading it. And it's the 5th tackle here for Celtic, but I've got to say, Mike, I'm quite impressed by Celtic. I was when they came in the league. And it's sometimes you've just got to hold your hand up and say, good play. It was a good little kick over. Briscoe slightly misjudged the kick through. And you've got to say that was a good try there for Celtic Crusaders, who have actually got something out of this game. The game by no means over. Still 20 minutes to go. But I've got to say, Mike, as I was just saying, Rovers doing the job, doing what they need to do. Say that try there. You've got to say credit to Celtic. I was impressed with them when they came in the league, more so than what I was with Salford. And Luke Dyer it was who got the try there. Got to say, Luke Dyer not angles. We're not sure who the try scorer was. We couldn't really see. Apparently it was Tangata who scored the try, and again he's not a stranger to scoring tries here at Craven Park. But got to say, Mike, it's good so far, and credit to Celtic, they kept on going, they got the reward there. More impressed with them than what I was with Salford, to be fair. I think they're a better side than Salford. Conversion goes across, and the scoreline here is Rovers 18, Celtic Crusaders 6. Nobody can see the scoreboard, so we're happy to use memory, but it's alright so far, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, there's no like the bounce of a rugby ball, Dave. That did bounce so good, but Tangle's steaming towards that like a juggernaut. Puts the ball down under the Rovers post, brings the score to 18-6 in favour of the Rovers. Celtic then again to bring that ball from his own line, and Adam Peake does just that fantastically well. Bounces Clint Newton off him. Great collision between the two there. Steve Tara there, the St Helens loanee, doing his fair share of the work, and Mark Delacote having a go himself as well. Up to the 40 metre line then for Celtic Crusaders. There'll be a bit more vigour inside the play, a little bit more enthusiasm, having just scored, as Tangles takes another good drive up for him. Bryant again making some good yards as well. In these conditions, he's the type of forward you're looking to gain the hard meterage and the hard yards. Last tackle then against the Celtic Crusaders, and again they're going for that dodgy bounce of the ball and that tricky take. But Liam Colburn does take that tricky ball and drops down on the 8 metre line, and Michael Dobson did pass it to Sean Briscoe, and Sean Briscoe goes down on the 10 metre line. Fitzheron then passes that ball out again, and Dave Mills, who should be full of energy and full of running, takes the ball on. Bengalira, who is always full of energy and always full of running, goes for that gap and tries to make the break. Just brought down by Lincoln Withers, I think it is, on that far side. It was that Fitzhenry, I believe, on that far side, who just took that ball well. I may be wrong there, it was Bengalira again. Always working Bengalira. Paul Cook then dodges inside and outside, kicks that ball fantastically well again towards the in-goal area of the Celtic Crusaders. I tell you, that's not going to go dead. That holds up fantastically well, knows every inch of this pitch, of course, as Paul Cook. And again, he is the first man to the tackle, automatically bringing everybody on side, of course, so there's no dangerous offside against Hull Kingston Rovers. Luke Dyer looking to go on the outside of his opposite number, can't do so. Brought down on the 10 metre line of the Celtic Crusaders. Up to Rovers now then to try and keep him down here, as again, and I believe it's Tangles again that receives the ball. No, it's not. Really sorry about the errors, but it's difficult to see from up here. Anthony Blackwood it was, and I believe that's Delacote. His hair gives him away. Oh, that looks undecidedly forward. The referee and linesman were both directly in line with that. Back to what he calls. I thought that ball had gone forward in the act of tackling, but Mr. Albert says no. He purposely played at the ball. Quinn then puts it through to, that is Tangles, as he runs down right in front of us here in the gantry. Plenty of tackles in hand then for this side. Bryant again looking for the gap, just can't get there. 3-man tackle again for Rovers, just stopping him inside the Rovers half of the field as the mist descends again on Craven Park. Oh, it's a great dummy sold. No, I think it was alright. Scruffed him on the scruff of the neck. Oh, Damien Quinn's away, there's a gap there. No, he goes back for the... Actually, he should have left him where he was, because he's gained 20 yards and it'd have been back to 1. But he gives him the penalty anyway. And Celtic Crusaders then with a bit of momentum, bit of confidence growing, as Ben Fisher comes back onto the field for Daniel Fitzhenry. There was a little bit more go forward on the field earlier when Ben was in the acting half position. Here we go then. Can Rovers keep him out? Bryant brought down 16 metres from the Rovers line. Lincoln Withers in at acting half. Sells the dummy, goes right, comes back inside this time, and Damien Quinn again, is it? No, it was Hannah. Oh, they're just watching him a little bit there, a bit static of Rovers in defence. They was pushing at one in the first half, they've got a line to push out off that line. Here we go again then, Quinn receives that ball in a wide position. Jay Webster one-on-one. Again takes his man, but this time he's able to offload, and Tangatatoa is looking for options, and he slings that ball. Oh, it's a brilliant pass actually. Got to say, Luke Dyer just kicks that ball dead into the touchline area alongside that east stand. Scored many a good try for us that way, kicking the ball and going round his marker. Not this time. Not against Foxy. Not tonight. Hull Kingston Rovers then. Head and feed. Just look at that blind side there. Peter Fox had moved very wide on his wing. Obviously saw the complete line, because that looks like Peter Fox has had a run. Yep, Liam Corbett it was. Now it's Peter Fox looking for the gap, bounces off one, bounces off two, brought down ultimately by his opposition forward, Tangatatoa. Two-man tackle then again for the Celtic Crusaders on the 38-metre line. Making some better yards here, Rovers. Offloads that ball, great. Jake Webster tries to go for the gap, does so, bounces off one. Oh, the offload was there if he wanted it. Ben Fisher was right alongside of him. Rovers then, bit of momentum in this second half. Who's that scared for that far side? It's young Mullen. Can he bring his man down? No, he just sells him that way. There's Luke Dyer. Oh, it's a risky offload there. I don't see why he has had to do it. Could get dragged back. No, just drops down there 4 metres short of his line. Celtic again looking to work their way from their own in-goal area, their own try line, and Rovers trying to stop them, of course, in a big defensive effort that could see a lot to cementing the outcome of this game. Hannay then bursts away from hacked in half. Oh, it's a great tackle, had to be. Young Wallem again wraps his arm around the player's waist and thought, "You're going nowhere, son, come here." As he knocked that ball on, it looks a bit like a knock on there from Quinn. Nope, held on to it. Lincoln Withers on the last tackle will kick the ball for the Celtic Crusaders, and Sean Briscoe turns his back on it and catches it over his shoulder as the mist lifts slightly on the players. But that definitely is Briscoe, and this definitely is Craven Park, and that's definitely Foxy looking for another gap. Just got a feeling that he might score a long ranger tonight. I don't know what gives with that feeling, but he's there and thereabouts looking for the gaps. And Liam Corbin again going forward. David Mills makes way for Macca. Bit of a strange clear patch there in the mist. Yeah, the touch did just come on again. I don't think it was Tangles, I think it was Brian who's got his hands on it, so he's chatting to the linesman again. What's Adam Peake going to do? I don't know if Adam Peake's the captain tonight, you know. I really don't know, but if he ain't, he's speaking a lot. I think he's going to call Tangles out, you know. Yep, David Tangatatoa's being called out. Does surprise me, never come across as a dirty player when he played for us. Let's have a look what he says. No, he said, "You're round the head there, you're grappling him to the floor. You can't do it once he's tackled, leave his head alone." Penalty to Rovers then. Paul Cook to kick the ball into that east stand, or past the end of it. No, into the last bit of the east stand it goes then. 25 metres from the Celtic line. Rovers looking to put this game to bed. Paul Cook offloads it in a short way to reach Love Gobles. Tries to go for the gap, brought down well. 15 metres short from the Celtic line. Young Stanley Jean just brought down 10 metres from the line. Ben Fisher at Acton half. Has a gaze to his right, goes right. Michael Dobson now gives it to Michaelis, who hits the ball with a lot of power. So when the Celtic do well to bring him down. Penalty to Hull Kingston Rovers there, briefing the ball out. Losing a lot of friends up here on the Gantry tonight at Celtic with the spoiling tactics and the Michael Dobson taking the intelligent option there, taking the toe, puts them within 3 scores of course rather than so. That would be required to tie this game and take it back to a replay, sure, at Brewery Fields, so we don't want to be going there twice, do you? Not with all them sheep. Nah. Yeah, Hull fans would love to go up there twice. Oh, they love it in Wales. They haven't repeated that there, that's just nasty. Double then. Stroud's back and he's going to kick this ball straight between the uprights, I'm sure. Jake Webster just throwing the water bottle at David Tangatatoa. I think he did it on purpose, I think he wanted to hit him in his leg. Double substitution then for Celtic Crusaders. Tangatatoa and looks like Adam Peake, is it? Score here then at Hull Kingston Rovers is Hull Kingston Rovers 20. And it looks to me, with 10 minutes of the game to go, like the mist has gone. It's come. And I'm not kidding you, viewers, it's been here for the duration of the game and 15 minutes before, and it's gone with 10 minutes left. Well, thank you. Celtic then will kick this ball. Yeah, I'm not surprised they're going for the short option. Young one there, watched it brilliantly well, jumps like a gazelle, and a ginger like that, which you don't often see, unless you're in South Africa and it's really sunny. And caught that ball very well. Stanley Jean bounces off one, comes spinning away, he's still full of running, and he goes again, Hampton's young counterpart off there. Neil Budworth for now answer to the abuse out of Stanley Jim McCarthy, who's making some good yards as well. Rovers on the go forward now. Putting the old pedal to the metal of Rovers. Been messed about with a bit there. Bengalia missed out. Clint Newton goes down this near side. Legs lifted off the floor slightly there by Delacote. Referee says play on. Ben Fisher then whips that ball to the left hand side. Dobson misses one, misses two, goes inside two. Reece Lovegrove eventually was brought down just 29 metres short. Fifth and last tackle against the Rovers. What they're going to do, what's different about this play? That's a fantastic pass! Yes, that'll be a try! Liam Colburn into the right hand corner of Hull Kingston Rovers. They've made all the right decisions there. Missed the man out. Bengalia held on to the passes late as possible. He offloaded it wide into the hands of the welcoming Liam Colburn, who dashes it in on the right hand side for a try to Hull Kingston Rovers. Fantastic play, David.
Certainly was. Great play from Hull Kingston Rovers. Worked it well. We were wondering what they were going to do on the fifth tackle. I think we got our answer. Bengalia with a great pass out to Jake Webster, who burst through. There was a gap, took in, got the winger to come in on him. Liam Colburn just waiting there for the offload from Jake Webster. And a well taken try there for Liam Colburn in the corner. And you've got to say tonight, Rovers have done the job and done the job well. And I think that could be the fifth round. Here we come. Scoreline 24 points to 6 with this conversion to come from Michael Dobson. Again, it's a difficult one. It's way out on the touchline. But the wind has gone, the mist has gone. It's all nice and clear now. We can see what's going on. We can see everybody. And hopefully we shall see Dobber striking his ball over. Kicks it, and it goes right through the middle. Lovely kick. Lovely kick, like I say, through the middle, off the upright. Did go through the middle, just came off the upright first. So the scoreline here at Craven Park. Hull Kingston Rovers 26, Celtic Crusaders 6, and what has been quite an entertaining night's rugby. 10 minutes, well, not even 10 minutes, about 7 or 8 minutes left. Yeah, and Stanley just watching that ball, tapped it forward, tried to catch it, didn't quite make it. What can you say? Well, Stanley, you're never lacking in enthusiasm, my friend. Age 42, supposedly, on a good authority. So Celtic Crusaders here with an attacking scrum inside the Rovers 20, more or less on the 12-13 metre line. Celtic then bring this ball away, scragged down in a great tackle there by Michele Alzui and Clint Newton. Celtic still going, credit to them. They're still plugging away, trying to get across that try line. And tonight's attendance and great credit to the Rovers faithful, 7,104. Great attendance tonight. And what has been a bitterly cold night, bit misty. You've got to say great credit to the Rovers faithful, 7,104. Celtic then trying everything to try and get ooh, that could have gone anywhere. Sean Briscoe for once not collecting the ball cleanly, and it's going to be a dropout. Did enough to make sure it went for the dropout. And I've got to say great credit goes to Celtic. I know they had a bit of spoiling, but the actual attacking play at times has been very, very good. And they have exerted when they've had chance in the Rovers half, and they have put pressure on Rovers. This, the second dropout then, goes way, way out. Great kick. Tyra it is who collects this ball, takes it down to the 32 metre line. Jake Webster in the tackle yet again with Bengalia. And O'Hara tries to run this ball back, but goes backwards. Neil Budworth it is, offloads the ball there to Tangata Toa by the look of it, who's back on the pitch. East Stand rising to the Rovers' efforts here. Quinn looking to offload it, but Delacote, all he can do is drop it. And I think Mr. Alibert is going to say call it for the first knock on by Delacote. Yeah, gives the ball to Rovers on this on the Rovers 20 metre line. And the man of the match tonight, a certain young Michael Dobson. Although I have to admit, my candidates would have been Jake Webster possibly. Shortly followed by Paul Cook, who I think on his return to the side has had a very, very good game tonight as Paul Cook. Stanley's bouncing, jinking, ducking, diving. As we said last season, it's just like a little weeble wobbler. You just can't knock the man down. Roberts now just trying to drive this ball up the front. Clint Newton just made his way to the touchline. I think this could be saving him for a certain match, but Bengalier bursts through. Bengalier offloads it to Ben Fisher. Gets tackled, but Rose, if they can play this ball quickly, there will be gaps. Dobson then kicks it through, a great kick through, and Jake Webster's hunting it. Jake Webster with a great try. What a great try from Wilkinson Rovers. Bengalier, great break from Bengalier, offloading it to Ben Fisher. Did a quick play of the ball. Dobson noticed there was nobody there in the Celtic back line, kicks the ball through. Jake Webster says, thank you very much, I think I'll have my first try this season. Great try from Wilkinson Rovers, no more than Jake Webster has deserved tonight, because I personally think they've got that slightly wrong. Not that I'm calling anybody, don't get me wrong, Dobbo has had a great game tonight, as he always has done. He does in most games, but I think tonight, Jake Webster in particular, and Paul Cook, definitely big shout outs for man of the match for me. And Jake Webster there with a great try, just to finish off what has been a good performance from the man.
Yeah, I called it earlier. For me, he has been the man of the match. I really believe that. It's fantastic one-on-one tackling, some great scrambling defence, some great line breaks. But always looking for the gaps, always looking for the options, and finished the night off with a superbly taken try. Took some scoring. The fullback, the player dropping back for Celtic, always looked favourite to get there first, but the endeavour showed by Webster to get there paid off in the end, and a great try. Dobson then crouches, 2 steps backwards, strikes the ball, goes straight for the middle. Fantastic kick again from Michael Dobson. Brings the score here at Craven Park to Hull Kingston Rovers 32, the Celtic Crusaders 6. Some great tries scored for Rovers in some terrible conditions earlier on. You wouldn't think so now, it's really cleared up. Judging by our watches, I think there's about a minute to go. Yeah, approximately a minute to go. We will try. No short ones this time. I think they know the game's gone. So they'll just put that ball up the field and try and keep Rovers down this side. Coleman again it is, and he brings that ball forward from his own line. It's not Coleman at all. I'm very sorry, it's David Mills of course. McCarthy is still trying to burst his way through the Celtic defenders. My mistake. It's great to hear that Jake Webster's been called the sponsors man of the match today. Really deserves that accolade, and I know the gentleman from the RL who's up here was on the gantry said the same thing earlier on in the game. He really has had a stormer as the young lad. That's a fantastic pass. Stanley's got space to run into, chooses to do so, offloads the ball to McCarthy, who's very good to run. Chris Warren receives that ball. Can we finish with a bit of a stain here? Oh, it's just unfortunate he chose to kick it. Again, Jake Webster's there to try and affect the tackle. This time he will do. He does eventually. 3-man Rovers tackle, bring him down to the 20-metre line. Have to start calling this side the entertainers, taking over that mantle from St Helens of course if they carry on play like that. Some great stuff to watch here at Craven Park, and it's making the season passes seem cheap at half the price. Right then, there goes the final hooter to the air, ladies and gents, with a final score of Hull Kingston Rovers 32, the Celtic Crusaders 6. Some great play, like I said earlier, on what was a terrible conditions for rugby league, and all credit to Hull Kingston Rovers for providing a very entertaining game, and of course progression, Dave, into the 5th round of the Challenge Cup that takes us that one step closer to Wembley.
Absolutely. We said before the game kicked off, there is a good chance for most teams that'll be left in that 5th round, with 5 Super League teams going out. The 5 teams going out in this round, including either Saints or Leeds, opens it up, and Rovers in a very convincing manner have put their place into the 5th round. So the scoreline here at Craven Park finishes here. Hull Kingston Rovers 32, Celtic Crusaders 6. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again for the next home match, which will be Huddersfield on Easter Monday, with a certain game on Good Friday against some team from across the river.